Hi there, I'm Richard Herring. This is my daughter, Phoebe. She's got milk all over her face. What a blooming idiot. She is the reason that we're doing this Kickstarter campaign. Recently we've been filming RHLSTP. Shut up, Phoebe, eat your food. It costs about 1,500, 1,600, 1,700 quid an episode to pay the camera people and the editor and the producer. But we've been trying to put these up for free recently just because they're nice and we want people to see stuff for free. But we're recording 18 episodes in the next series, which is coming up in June and July. No definite names yet, but some very exciting possibilities. We'd like to keep giving these out for free, but as you probably know, we do pay a pound a month thing at gofasterstripe.com/badges. We want that money really to go towards making a series of As It Occurs to Me, which we hopefully be able to do in 2016. But if we pay for the videos from that fund, that will use up basically a year's worth of money. I mean, we'll be another year behind doing Artemis, shush, Phoebe. And we're doing like a load more Less Square Theatre podcasts in the autumn anyway. So if we keep on paying for these out of that fund, then we'll have no money to do anything else. I suspect people don't want that, and I'm not sure people want the video RHLSTPs. But if you do, then you can use this Kickstarter campaign to pay for them, and if you don't, then we won't do them anymore. And that seems like a good way of doing it. Are you all right, baby? I'm trying to talk to the people. It's very selfish of you to be making a noise. So we've come up with lots of rewards and stuff that I think might, as a fan of the podcast, you might want. From just a badge saying I'm one of the cool kids. You can get an actual, I'm going to draw handprints of that tiny Hermione hand, which you can either then, with your own hand, make into a ham hand, or just compare your own hand to see if you're a Hermione hand twin. And then there's other prizes as we go up, including, there's a few where you can have me say something in the opening monologue, something short, like, say you've got a friend that you don't like Stuart Lee is a fucking idiot. I could say that if you had a friend called Stuart Lee. And it goes right up to, if you want to pay for an entire episode of 1,500 quid, then we'll have a little intro saying hello to you. We don't really want to get advertisers involved in this and big companies. I've had a few offers of stuff like that, but I don't want it to sort of turn into adverts. It seems to me that if fans of the show are contributing, that seems more in the spirit of the show. And that means if you have a small business and you're not like a massive conglomerate fat cat, if you're making like throat pastels or little cakes or stuff like that, and you want to spend 1,500 quid to have a few thousand people see you, and I'll do an audio version as well, so up to 150,000 people will hear about your business. But I might take the piss out of you and all that sort of stuff. The people who've offered me money for doing proper adverts have made sort of insisting on certain things and not me not taking the piss, which I will obviously do. So if you're in the spirit of the podcast and you enjoy the podcast and you want to get one of the nice prizes and the nice rewards for helping us do this, and just you will have contributed to meaning that the videos carry on, then by all means donate to this Kickstarter. And like I say, if you don't do it, we'll just stop filming them, but they will carry on going out on audio for free. I kind of think it's important that they go out for free as much as possible, because I don't want people who can't afford to pay for the stuff not to see it. But look, I've got this little idiot here. Look at her. I can't afford to give away, look, Phoebe, you're on telly. I can't afford to give away 1,500 quid of my own money every week for the vanity of seeing myself on TV on a YouTube application. So it's all in your hands. I hope you will enjoy the series, whatever format it comes in. And thank you for watching this video, and thank you for donating if you do. And onwards and upwards. Let's hope the internet empire grows. And there's more time to do snooker, playing myself at snooker, which is the main reason I'm doing all this. Okay, baby. Drink quicker. Why you grow up faster? You're so tiny. You're such an idiot. All right, here's some more food. Shut up. Cry, they'll think I'm a bad dad.
Have you ever seen dirtybrickconfessions.com?
I have. Someone printed a load of them off for me. Yeah.
You've got loads.
They thought I would find it funny, but I found it incredibly sexually gratifying.
But yours are.
Oh God.
Really properly sexy.
Tell me about it.
Most of them are ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, yours.
When they showed it me, I was going, "Oh God, how ridiculous!" And I was home. I was slamming my cock into the fridge.
I've printed them as well. You might not have heard, this one's from 3 days ago, you might not have seen this one. This one is...
I haven't checked it lately.
I want... This one is Leicester. You look quite like Morrissey in that picture there.
Yes, I do generally.
I want Greg Davies to pour milk all over me, then lap it off slowly like a massive cat. Would you be into that?
I'm just relieved that they said massive cat, because they wanted me to lick it off like a tiny little kitten. It would have been quite hard. I'll tell you, no, I would be into that, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'm fine about licking milk off people.
The problem, I'm trying to bring people together here, but they don't, it's all anonymous, so it's very difficult to find the person. But...
Can I just tell you, just the word milk has reminded me of something.
Yeah.
Me and my mates used to run this sort of band night in Brentford, a rubbish little bar in Brentford. And all these local bands would come down and play. We did it sort of once a fortnight, and all these bands would come down to play it. There was this one local funk band, I can't remember their name, and they had a much older lead guitarist than the rest of the band. The rest of the band were all 20-something, and he was sort of 45 or something. And we were sitting in the dressing room afterwards, and the 45-year-old had gone home, and it was just the young band members left. My mate went, "What's with the old guy?" And they went, "Oh, he's a legend. He started the band. He's a legend." And my mate went, "Okay, well, what makes him a legend?" He goes, "Well, I mean, he's just a legend, just generally." And my mate went, "Well, can you give me an example of his legendary behaviour?" And this small kid, who was like the drummer who hadn't spoken, sort of felt the need to step in. He goes, "Yeah, right, once. It was with this bird, right? He got this bird back to his place, and he was shagging her, and he started to shag her and stuff. And then he said, 'Wait there, love.' And he went to his kitchen. He got a pan. He got a pan out, and he warmed up some milk. And then he went back, and he got a funnel, and he funneled all the milk up her arse. And my mate went, "Why did he do that?" And this kid went, "Well, he's a legend."
That's that he warmed it up. That is considerable.
I mean, it's one of the most insane things I've ever heard.
It sounds like a perfect murder. It's like in Columbo or something. You put boiling hot milk in, so it's like Edward the Second or first, whichever it was. Put boiling hot milk up their anus.
If someone said, it'd be one of those things. If you were having sex with someone and then that person went out and came in with a pan of hot milk and a funnel, I think you'd be so amazed. You'd just go, "Yeah, I mean, funnel that into my anus would be what I would think would be the most sensible thing for you to do."
Don't knock it till you've tried it.
Yeah,
that's what I
true.
He's got to just think leaving halfway through as well. It's sort of, well, just a minute.
This is nearly a litre here.
I'm going to be approximately 4 minutes.
Hey, but before, just put your elbow in this. Is that all right? Right. Good. I'm glad it's acceptable because I'm going to funnel it into your anus. Oh, fuck, I could have used this as stand-up. What a waste.
It's all right, no one sees this.
Oh, good.
It's Cheddar Caves. If you want to come sometime, it's really good. You like it. You can stay at my mum and dad's. I don't even have to come They'll put you up. They're nice.
And what's at Cheddar Caves if there's not? There's no making
We
paper?
don't need paper because we've got like good caves and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there is cheese, and that's made in one place. It's not really ever made in Cheddar. There's one place up the gorge that makes it though. It's more of a tourist thing. We don't take it that. The locals don't take it that serious. There's a couple of caves.
These used to be our caves, all the tourist caves, ruined our caves.
Jacob's Ladder. You go up Jacob's Ladder, which is like some steps. And then there's a tower you can look at over Cheddar.
This is the British tourist attraction, isn't it? Like, this sums up the British tourist attraction is a cave and a ladder. You know, there's Disneyland in America, we've got a cave. And then my sister sent me a leaflet for Diggerland. It's just some diggers in a field. Yeah, there are some big Diggerland fans.
There's a Barometer World in Dorset. I've only got the late leaflet for. I've never been. It says parking for up to 3 cars. But that's always been enough. They've never needed more.
Barometer World. A world. I mean, it's a grand. I mean, at best, barometer shed. You'd imagine.
Some barometers.
Yeah, some
4 barometers. 4 similar barometers. That's what it should be called. Good. I love the West Country. What if you? I'm quite obsessed now with the idea of becoming a conceptual artist. Right. Do you have ideas like this? Because I think I play myself at snooker in my bed. When I was a kid, I used to play myself at snooker and commentate on it and be both players. But now I do that as an adult and commentate on it and put it out as a podcast, which I see as a work of art. Other people see as a mental breakdown. And I also had the idea of, it's too late for me now, but if you throughout your whole life you save every pair of shoes you ever wear and then just arrange them in a line so you see your shoes. I mean, once you're dead,
that's rather good.
So it's like a mile long of all the different shoes you had, because that would show how you change and grow and also the absence of the person and what you, yeah. Do you have any idea? Do you have a conceptual art ideas? I mean, it's quite a difficult question to throw at you.
Yeah. I'll think of something.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, it sounds terribly sort of fusty and middle-aged because it is.
Yeah.
But I actually don't understand the difference between that and most conceptual. You know, that's a very good
I think that's a good one.
I was at a thing recently, a drawing prize, and the winner was a sound installation. I was thinking the only person in the room who thought it was fucking ridiculous. But it's sort of, you know, I like that.
Yeah.
It's not art; it's a thing.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing.
It's an interesting thing to do.
And that's sort of what art should be. I was walking around in Shepherd's Bush I think I was running in Shepherd's Bush, in fact, and I passed a.
You run Shepherd's Bush.
I run. I've become the David
The
Morrissey.
bush.
I'm
You
the
run the
governor
bush
of Shepherd's Bush. There was a baby, like an old-style baby carriage, like you don't really get anymore, without wheels on it, like
pram.
Like a pram, but no wheels.
Oh, I
so
see
just
right.
the basket bit. I think it might have used to have been on a pram, and inside that pram was a used condom, and I thought, just like lying in there, I just thought that's a great work of art. Isn't it? That's just.
It might be. You should have.
Well, I thought about taking it home, but then I thought, I will be taking home a dirty Cox when it had rats in it, and it's definitely got another man's semen dripping all over it. So yeah, I could take that back to my wife and see if she
Again.
she feels.
Not again.
Would you mind if I put this in? We've got a special room. For all
I
mine.
honestly know.
I'm like a pornographic
really-
bagpuss.
But Richard loved it. I do find it. I'm really intrigued by that idea. It's like, who decides?
Yeah.
They decide. I actually wanted to do a Doctor Who once called The They.
Right.
We always say, well, they found this thing. They've discovered. Who are they? It's them. They're over there. The They. That someone decides in the art establishment that someone's childish scrawl is worth £750,000, and the childish scrawl next to it is just childish scrawl. I think that's in itself interesting.
Yeah.
I found out something brilliant recently, which I think is deserving of at least a short film. That the Mona Lisa was not the most famous painting in the world until it was first stolen in 1885, I think, something like that. And more people came to see the space where it used to hang. It's true. Isn't that amazing? And that's kind of the beginning of it all, really. It's a concept.
Yeah.
The absence of the Mona Lisa. I think that's it's rather beautiful.
Yeah.
but it's not art. It's silly. It's just people being silly.
So you come from a place called Canada.
You know it.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a Bigfoot while you've been in Canada?
No,
No.
I have seen bears.
It's not as good. I mean, it's quite good.
Yeah. I mean,
They're quite dangerous, I bet, the bears and stuff, aren't they?
absolutely not cuddly creatures. People don't know. Do you know, bears aren't all around Canada. It's amazing because England is far enough from Canada, but it's our neighbors, the Americans, who know so little about us. And the misconceptions that come from that way are crazy. I live on a border town. I live very, very near to Detroit. So the part of Canada that I'm from is like 8 Mile. It's not nice. But because I'm so near, a lot of people in high school worked at the border, and people would come across from Michigan to holiday in Canada. It would be the middle of the summer, and they'd come with skis and snow. Genuinely. And the border kids would be like, "Where are you going?" Just over there. Just like, I'm gonna go around there and have a glass of water, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go skiing and play in the snow with the kids. And they'd be like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's 3 minutes away. 3 minutes away." So we don't have bears. We're a regular town.
It's quite cool they were going on holiday to Canada and just going to the bit that was just over the border as well. We're going to Canada. Not too far, though.
It's insane. You wouldn't
Yeah.
believe how. I mean, you might believe how stupid people are.
Yeah, I do. I believe how stupid American people are. I can believe that.
But
Because
then-
see them on TV a lot, right? So we know.
They'd want to see the bears,
Yeah.
and the Mounties and the Rangers would have to warn them not to do what they kept doing. Separate families, people. They would send their children out of the car,
Yeah.
where the bears were, paint their hands in honey, and try to have baby bears lick it off for a photo. They'd be like, "That'll be adorable. That'll be gorgeous." And then that's fine. Like, the baby bears indeed would lick it off. And then the mother bear would arrive on the scene and eat their children.
That could be the way that Canada conquers America, though. It's just let them
Yeah.
come over free, give them a pot of honey,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
just waltz in.
that's natural selection. I don't even
It
mind
is.
when that happens.
It was interesting. I'll ask you another of Ben's questions before I forget. This is a great question. What is it like being Stephen Fry?
It's a very hard question to answer.
It is.
If I answer in a negative way, it sounds ungrateful because I have had an extraordinarily fortunate life. I've been able to do an enormous number of things that most people don't get the opportunity to do in terms of travel, meeting people, occasions, things. You know, I get invited to ridiculous. Would you like to drive a Formula One car and all that sort of thing? And I kind of have to pinch myself occasionally. Oh, it's another invitation to the Royal Box at Wimbledon. Shall I go this year or not? You know, and I think, no, come on, you're lucky. There are people who would give anything for this kind of opportunity. Another part of me, and I've made this boringly plain in television programs and other things I won't wank on about, is that I am the victim of my own moods, more than most people are, perhaps, in as much as I have a condition which requires me to take medication so that I don't get either too hyper or too depressed to this point of suicide. I go as far as to tell you that I attempted it last year, so that I'm not always happy. It's the first time I've said this in public, but I thought I might as well. I'm president of Mind, and the whole point is, in my role as I see it, is not to be shy and forthcoming about the morbidity and the genuine nature of the likelihood of death amongst people with certain mood disorders, if they don't look after it, if they think they can do without the medication or the regular visits to a doctor, and without taking care of themselves. And it was a close-run thing. I took a huge number of pills with a huge number of vodka, and the mixture of them made my body convulse so much that I broke 4 ribs, but I was still unconscious. Unfortunately, the producer I was filming at the time came into the hotel room, and I was found in a sort of unconscious state and taken back to England and looked after. Now, you may say, how can anybody who's got it all be so stupid as to want to end it all? That's the point. There's no why. It's not the right question. There's no reason. If there were a reason for it, you could reason someone out of it, and you could tell them why they shouldn't take their own life. And some of the most brilliant minds there have been have taken their lives, writers, artists, and people who are not particularly famous but are wonderful people. I like to think that if I had children, I would think harder about doing it, but I know people who have children who've done it, or did know people who've had children who've taken their own lives. Sometimes it's the expression I imagine on my mother and father's face, both of whom are alive and happy, that stops me. But there are other occasions when I can't stop myself, or at least I feel I can't. And you may say, well, that's what friends are for. You talked about Hugh, and why didn't you just call him up? And all my friends, when they heard about this, or family, when they eventually heard about it, came to visit me in the hospital, said, why didn't you call? And I said, it's a very odd thing, but put it this way, it's a cheap and silly way of putting it, but it's just as true. Think of your very best friend, very, very best friend. And suppose you suddenly noticed you had a massive and really disturbing genital wart. Would you show it to your very best friend? No. No, you might show it to a stranger, a doctor, a genital urinary specialist, or to Dr. Christian, I suppose, on embarrassing bodies, or in the street, in his case. But the weird thing is, although friendship is what Ralph Waldo Emerson called the masterpiece of nature, and it is the thing we all celebrate, oddly enough, it doesn't solve things like that. So, although it's terrible to bring the conversation down, what it's like to be Stephen Fry is a very mixed and peculiar thing. If unmedicated, there are times when I'm so exuberant, so hyper, that I can go 3 or 4 nights without sleeping, and I'm writing and I'm doing stuff, and I'm so grandiose, I'm so full of self-belief that it's almost impossible to deal with me. I can't stop speaking. I'm incredible. I go on shopping sprees. Fortunately, one of the common signs of mania, or hypermania as it's known, is sexual exhibitionism. I don't have that as one of my brands, but others do. But I do have shopping. I remember once going into Bond Street, and I came back with a taxi with something like 17 shopping bags, and I put them in my bedroom. And about 3 days later, I sort of switched phase into the depressed, and I came out of that okay, and then realised that I hadn't opened any single one of these shopping bags, and I threw them all away. Well, I just left them out in the street. I hope someone picked them up, but I left them out in the street. And there may be some people in the audience who can relate to this, and others who know people who have the same issue. And I know there are plenty of, for everyone who is sympathetic about it, there'll be some Melanie Phillips who says, sort of, why don't they just walk it off? You know, honestly, it's just some celebrity designer disease. So when I'm conscious, when I'm rational, I realize that being Stephen Fry is a very wonderfully happy thing to be able to be. People are extraordinarily nice to me. That's the thing that I honestly most get out of it, is the average cab I get into, or the person who stops me in the street is not just, oh, can I have a photograph, but they really say nice things, and because of books or whatever, they say nice things that maybe relate to their own children or to their own lives, which makes one happy to have made a difference. So, yeah, mostly it's great, but there are times, and I don't know if you've ever had this, Richard, where you're on stage. I spoke about this in the manic depression, but when I'm doing QI, and I'm going, yeah, and the next question, and inside I'm going, I want to fucking die. I want to fucking die.
Well, yeah, it is weird that you have to carry on regardless of what's going on in your life and what you're feeling. For me, I just kind of, I mean, I have certainly had lonely times and depressed times, and I think I went through depressions not on any level of the same as that, but throughout. I think because it's a difficult job because you're high and low. For me, I'm on stage and I've got like voices in my head going, "What if you forget how to speak now? What if you forget how to form letters?" And there's what if you just forget what's coming up next? And there's a kind of evil voice in my head trying to throw me off.
Yes, I know that. I did the Sydney Opera House. I've somehow agreed. I don't have an act. I'm not a stand-up comedian. I don't have an act as such. And I was doing a literary festival in Hong Kong, and then I was going down to New Zealand to start filming on The Hobbit. And they said, would I do an evening at the Opera House? And I thought, well, it's on the way, virtually. I might as well stop off at Sydney. And so I said yes. And I was wandering around this nice hotel that looks right out across at the Opera House and thinking, 2,000 people, it's going to be really good fun. And I thought, but what am I going to say? I literally don't know what I'm going to say. And I was so astonished by my complete lack of preparedness that I started to find it funny. So I eventually ended up in the wings of the Opera House, and they were saying, right night, you got your, yeah, I said, yeah. I said, how are you going to signal the interval? I said, you'll know when you'll know. And I came out and I literally said, they were very kind, and I suppose. I said, it's wonderful to be here. I want you to know that it's perfectly possible that in any minute my mouth may open and close like a guppy, and no sound will come out at all. And you are all entitled to your money back. And they all kind of laughed. That was the funny thing I said. And then I asked someone if they had an iPhone, and I said, can you set it to timer? And in 40 minutes, give me a wave. And then I just talked. And Christ knows what. And the extraordinary thing is that they'd sold it out so much that I had to do the second night in the Opera House as well. And then if you've ever been to Australia, you'll know this. Melbourne, of course, will not tolerate someone from Britain being in Sydney and then not going to Melbourne. So they set up a Facebook page demanding that I come to Melbourne. So I hired a theatre in Melbourne and did that twice. And Phil McIntyre, whom I'm sure you know, is a promoter, does a lot of comedy. He calls me up somehow in Melbourne and says, so, you've got an act then? And I said, well, I don't know how to an act exactly, but I've got away with with these 4 performances. He said, it's 7. I said, what do you mean 7? I booked the Albert Hall 3 nights for you. And that's it. And to this day, I don't know what I said in any of them. It was different each time, and I don't really know what it was. But
yeah. Well, yeah, you have that when I do a new Edinburgh show, which I'm doing now, just working. Well, I've got my first preview on Sunday, and I've got no idea what I'm going to say. So the first few shows are kind of like that, though not usually, admittedly, in the Sydney Opera House. I hope you don't kill yourself.
Here's a good opening joke for you.
Yeah.
No, ladies and gentlemen, I was in the attic. Yeah. And I found an old sex offenders registry in the attic. It was extraordinary. I thought, what's that doing there? It was a TV Times, 1973.
I'm slightly annoyed that Ben's questions are getting much, much better answers than mine every single time. I'm worried if you do kill yourself that me Tipp-Exing the plot problems with making history are going to look a bit sick when I desecrate your grave. So I hope you will look after yourself.
I am. On genuine and regular medication, I've succumbed, and it seems to be working.
No, but I mean, everyone really fucking loves you. It's a very important thing. I think we can we'll call it a day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for my visit again, Stephen Ball.
How'd you like them sky potatoes?